Yeah, coach, go
All
ahead.
right. We good? Okay. Thank you guys for taking the time to be with us. You got two special ones here that are really stepping up in a crucial time with us, and Izzy and Dominique, and really excited for our opportunity over the next week, and obviously most importantly tomorrow. And so I just think we're growing, and I think the biggest thing for us is that we don't lose sight of what got us on a better track. And it's, playing a really solid defense. It's getting our rebounding numbers. It's the best passion play numbers we've had. It's the intangibles. It's the doing the simple things with elite consistency. And it really comes down to how can I give and how can I grow? And so, if I think if we can have great humility in that, but also grow in our confidence at the same time, I'm looking forward to seeing how we can grow again starting tomorrow.
Great. Feel free to unmute yourself or raise your hand if you have any questions.
Hello. Izzy and Dominique, how would you just kind of describe this group of underclassmen that the team has this year?
I would just say everybody's so willing to step into these roles that we have on the team. Everybody is competitive. I think it's a really great group of underclassmen. We've got our new ones. We've got some that were here last year as well. So I think it's such a competitive group, and it's really coming through. I'd say the upperclassmen are really leading that. So yeah.
Yeah, I would agree with Izzy. Practices are competitive. And just like Izzy said, like people being able to step up when needed, I think is huge. And I think we just have a great group, and I'm excited to keep playing with them and keep going into conference play and keep getting challenged and to keep growing with these group of girls. So
yeah.
And just to build on one thing is that, and I think Charisma and Imari would be the first ones, and Jalen before she went down, is the first ones to say that it's not the big scores and the headline people that have led to this sort of turn in a good direction. It's really been the underclassmen. It's been Dominique stepping into new roles and being able to really find her groove of what it looks like for her to help us win more possessions. And what is Izzy doing? I think their consistency in their roles really has been the most important shift in how we're starting to play, and the mentality that we're starting to play with, and how we're starting to believe. I really am proud of our underclassmen, because I think they have been the ones that have had the most discomfort and the most up and down, and they've really stepped into great change and growth.
And then for Arizona, it looks like they have quite a few contributors when it comes to scoring. So just what's your plan to kind of limit them on offense?
Well, I think, the most important thing we can do to limit them on offense is to take care of the ball ourselves. Almost 30% of their scoring, I think I have it here, it's 28.7% of their scoring comes off of other people's turnovers. So I think the most important thing to limit their scoring is to take care of the ball, to be really strong with the ball, to create clean catches. If we're able to string together 5 good catches on a possession, I think we're going to be just fine. Also defensively, they're really efficient in the paint. And so they want to get no move needed. They're really good from the left corner. I mean, we have all this analytics data, right, from those kinds of things. But I think, obviously everyone's got tendencies at this point. Now, Pellington and Kate Reese are the ones that are really carrying the biggest load. So obviously it starts with them. And in pressurized situation, it's really been Pellington. But she wants to get downhill. She gets to the cup, but she's been also hitting some really clutch jumpers. So keeping her in check, making things hard for her, that'll predominantly fall on Charisma. That'll be a big part of her responsibility. And then Kate Reese, I think that Imari, everyone talks about her scoring. She's a bucket. The thing I'm most proud of Imari is her better defense. And that when you talk about limiting their scoring, it's going to be her defense starting out on Reese. That's going to be really critical tomorrow.
Okay. Izzy and Dominique again. I feel like in that USC series, we kind of saw like a little bit of everything, but what is something that you guys each want to take from that series and really channel into this, top 10 team game?
Personally, I think me and both Izzy agree, like just our toughness. I think we hit so much adversity in both games. And I think we were able to just kind of refocus. We always talk about next play speed. And that's what that means is basically forgetting the next play and worrying about the next thing ahead of you. And that's the next defensive possession, the next pass that you have to make. Little things like that, I think I was most proud of and I was most excited about with this team, just because we've grown so much in that. And I think moving forward, it's going to help us win a lot of games because it's such a valuable piece to have that mentality to be able to refocus. I remember there's a few times where there's a few calls we didn't agree with. And me and Riz looked at each other and just smiled and clapped our hands like, all right, let's get this defensive possession back. And that just shows the growth. Like, we're not worried about calls. We're not worried about things we can't control. And even when things don't go our way, we're still excited. We're still going to have the same energy. And we didn't let our defense affect our offense or vice versa. And I think that's a huge growth step for us.
Yeah, I'd agree with what Dominique said. Just our toughness and carrying that through the rest of this conference play is going to be so crucial to getting more wins. And then I'd also just say, like, the growth that we experienced over this last weekend and even the weekend before with the Washingtons as a team, just continuing to grow and continuing to build that chemistry with each other and just making sure that we're going to what we're good at and limiting what the other team is good at. I think we did a really good job of that against SC, and we knew our scout and we executed that. So continuing to do that.
Haley, was it you, Haley, that asked the question about mental training after the USC game?
Yeah, it was.
Well, it's interesting, Dominique. I was curious to ask you when you said that about, you and Riz after a bad call. I don't know if you remember this, but remember when we watched the Villanova men and we talked about how when they had a bad call, they all just started clapping and smiling. That's actually, I looked down at you guys and I didn't even know if it was conscious or not, but all of you started doing that one time where they just, that's what Villanova's men, you can tell they're taught to do that. Every time there's something that goes wrong, they all just start clapping and they start smiling and they start saying their phrase is attitude. But I saw a glimpse of that next play speed and how we responded. And I really think it's, we always talk about the tougher, more together team, but that present focus, that ability to control your minds. And we always say thoughts become things, and we got to really control what we're thinking about and being present focused. And I really saw a glimpse of that from the team and, referring to what Dominique said.
And then lastly, can you give us any update or a timetable for Jalen's return?
Yeah, I think I'm not totally sure. You're probably talking anywhere from 2 weeks to 3 weeks. You're probably talking about, but it really is going to depend on her response. But she's doing great, and I think we're at a good spot with her, and I think every day she's seeing progress, and so we definitely are pushing to get her back as soon as we can.
Thanks.
Mm-hmm.
You have any questions, Amanda?
Oh yeah, I have a few. I was kind of curious with the time span in which your games were either postponed or canceled. How did you all use that time wisely and find a way to kind of train and develop your skills?
Well, you could probably get about 13 different answers on that because all of us were shut down at different times. Honestly, it was really difficult. That's what made it so hard, is that we weren't all shut down at the exact same time frame. And that was before the rules had changed. So everybody had 10 days, it was really difficult. I remember when we came back from, I think on the 27th, we had our first day. We only had 2 people that were actually practicing, and so it just really was a gradual thing from there. And then adding like, okay, one person's out, and then they would start a progression. So the first day was 30 minutes, and then it was maybe 30 again of certain heart rate monitors, and then it would go from there. So it was really difficult. We never once before the Colorado game had everybody we were going to play in the game with in a full practice. So, it was sort of that we showed up at the Colorado game and sort of rallied the troops and got ourselves enough and went for it. But it was really difficult. And so we obviously only had 7 as it was. And so to add having so many people coming out of a COVID situation and going to altitude. But I also thought that was the start of us choosing mental toughness, because you know what? You didn't hear us talking about it. No excuses, no nothing. Like, it was let's learn from this, find a way, come back the next time. And really in the areas that I've really challenged them to grow, they've really responded. So, but it was really difficult, and it was different for every single person.
With for both Izzy and Dominique, how has having the amount of minutes than this being your first year competing for UCLA, like what have you noticed about the improvement of your game and your style of play?
I would just say I think it's a great opportunity to learn, and the best learning comes from when you're on the court with your teammates. So I think the opportunity to be playing this many minutes has accelerated the growth that I've seen and that I've also seen in Dominique. But the more I play, the more grateful I am to be able to do it. So getting these minutes has been great for me. I'm excited for my other teammates to come back, but it's been great.
Yeah, I agree with Izzy. I feel like experience is one of the best learners or teachers, either way you want to put it. I think for me, just playing a lot of minutes and being in the starting lineup has taught me a lot how to come out strong. Usually I come off the bench and I try my role is to kind of come off the bench and be the spark, and I have to start the game and do that. So to me, it's just kind of just being ready from the jump, not being able to kind of watch the game as it goes on before I sub in. And also, like Izzy said, I've seen Izzy grow a ton through this process, playing a lot of minutes, more minutes than that we probably expect to play. But I think it's a blessing, and I'm also very grateful too. Every time I step onto the court, I just have a different level of gratitude, knowing that we get to play another game, especially in a year like this.
What advice have you all gotten from coaching staff and upperclassmen just on like being a student athlete at UCLA?
Personally, just being able to balance everything, school, being an athlete. I think once you're able to have time management or find a good schedule for you, a routine with time management, finding time to get your work done, finding time to relax. I think that's when it makes it easier. I think when school first started and we were like in classes, I was just like, oh my gosh, there's so much, because that was the first time I was in person for a while, and then practice and all that. But I'm just grateful to be on campus and to be with my teammates, to spend time with them and talk to them. And they always give me little things here and there about how to do this or how to do that, whether it's on the court or off the court. So they've been a huge help to me, and I know they've been a huge help for Izzy also.
Yeah, I definitely second the time management that Dom spoke about. I think that's a crucial part of our day-to-day. And then I'd also add that everybody's really emphasized through like conversation, through action, that anything you do, you don't have to do alone, whether it's on the court, off the court, regardless, there's someone that wants to help you every step of the way. So really relying on your support system that is so strong here is really crucial to getting through this season.
What has been like a favorite class? I know you've been there for not that long, but what has been a favorite class for you both?
Mine was actually last year online. I took a communications, it was Com1 class, and it was all public speaking, which I really enjoyed. And that was a great class it was a confidence builder as well as a lot of great content that we learned. So that was definitely one of my favorites so far.
My favorite class, actually, I'm taking this quarter, and it would be linguistics. It's just about language and dialects and just how different parts of the world pronounce things, or different parts of the world say the same word but mean different things. And I just think it's pretty cool just to see how diverse the world is, and then also to just talk about and learn more about like the brain and how the brain works, and a lot of science, but I think it's a really good class.
That's all the questions I have.
Coach, would you have any final thoughts ahead of Arizona and then potentially the Oregon weekend?
Yeah, I think, Arizona, obviously we're not thinking too far past Arizona, but what a great opportunity. We want to be able to play NCAA level tournament teams and be able to, we believe we're an NCAA level tournament team. We just have to have the opportunity and the reps to be able to show that and prove that. And so this is amazing, right? We got 3 in a row that I believe are going to be in the NCAA tournament. And so what an opportunity. That's why you come to the Pac-12, is that every night you got to be ready, you got to show up. And I think that really excited for, one of the things I love about playing in the Pac-12 is that there's such dramatically different styles of play. And we're going to see 3 really different styles this weekend. And it's just going to force us to grow in how we prepare, in our purpose in each game plan, our attention to detail, our ability to adjust mentally, I think is going to be just so important. And so I'm really excited for every time I've put something in front of them that way, they seem to rise up into it. And so as a teacher and a coach, I'm really excited to watch them take that to another level. So really great opportunities ahead of us. So we're, like Izzy said, they both said that we're very grateful, and we're going to keep going back to that all year long. Every time we get to compete and be out there, we're grateful. And we want that gratitude to fuel our drive, our competitiveness, our ability to give to each other, and our ability to have improvement. So I think the more grateful team is the more competitive team. And so we just got to make sure that's us.
Right. All right. Appreciate it, everybody.
All right. Thanks, everyone. Have a good night.
Thank you.